All right, everybody, let's get to it on a Thursday, giveaway Thursday. How's everybody doing today? Got to get right to some charts, quick updates as well on some things that are happening. Check out our disclaimer to start today. Also, want to let everybody know, next Thursday, 5 o'clock, I'll be giving a presentation over at the Elliott Wave Hub. Please check the link, and I will be the last speaker of the event. It'll be an all-day thing, all-day event, speakers all day long. Here you go. Mostly Elliott Wave, but Harmonic too. I guess I'm the Harmonic guy. Everyone else is Elliott Wave. But, wave theory, it's all related. It all ties back to Elliott Wave principles, 5-wave, 3-wave, and however you want to break that down, interpret that. But do check that out, please. That's next Thursday, and I would love to get a big show of people that everyone can get there and make a representation of what harmonic patterns are all about. So let's jump right into it. Giveaway Thursday, we had 2 winners. Who were the first 2 that came in here? I said first 2 would be V3 and gold. So it flies, it dies. You get the V3. Although I think you won before, my friend. Send Miss Stephanie a note on the Discord. And Nath, you won the gold. So congrats. We'll give away another book. Give another week, one more gold membership. Listen, also take advantage of the software and everything going on at harmonictrader.com, please. And share with your friends. As I've said before, cool friends only, please. But become a basic member. Register now. And again, the software. Everyone needs to be working with the software because we're going to talk about the dot today. What's going on here? You guys having a problem? Oh, I don't know. I have to check this server. What's up here? What's going on with the website? Anyway, get all your information on the basic members page again. And then when you get set up with the trials and you download the books and then watch some webinars and also check out the incredible cheat sheets, RSI BAM, the Harmonic pattern cheat sheet. That's a great one. Just flash that up. Listen, everything there to get started, free, and then subscribe because we do. I'll show you some of the new ideas that I've put out for premium members and market updates because we're all there now. We hit it now. So check that out, please. Really quick. 1 second. All right, let's take a quick look at these markets. The SPY pretty much dictating everything, and we have to start looking today. Yesterday, we finally got a dot, and that just means that it is the first sign, confirmation sign, retesting the zone where, okay, you've got my attention. Doesn't say we can't trend consolidate a little bit higher, which we typically do. A 3-5 bar kind of reversal consolidation thing. So don't jump on anything just yet, but let's pay close attention on SPY and what it does at, let's call it exactly for what it should be, 416.19. Really been an ideal type 2 return ever since that signal. That was, geez, right at the 29th. So today we have a yellow dot based off of this HSI signal. Maybe I should change the arrows. Everybody that gets access to the trial software, listen, you get access to the dot, and it's in the HSI arrows indicator. Let me just lighten up the dot, the arrows themselves, because we do want to look at the combinations. Where is this triggering? And yeah, let me do this one too. There, just brighten these up, make them easier to see. So with the yellow dot on yesterday's close, okay, that was how recent it was, not even 24 hours ago, we have the first confirmation of bearish resistance on the retest of the shark pattern. So it's big. It is big. And I will just say this for right now, and a lot of the things that we'll look at, all it means is that we want to truncate, shorten, decrease, minimize, define precisely in a very tight range the overall tolerance of what we're allowing in any kind of a pullback from here on out. And I'll break it down to this. Your immediate continuation will be the next 3-bar reversal. If we break out, we pop, we hold these lows, let's say you get another nice Disney announcement, then you make a full run to the hop level at 425. I would plan out the whole end of the quarter like this. Under the 3-bar reversal, under 408, 407. Okay, maybe we go back into a larger correction early. Not there yet, but that's the thinking, the framework that I want to take going forward. And it started yesterday on the close. This is important for crypto, as we've seen. We do have some other things that have stalled out, and we'll get to that in a second. But we want to focus to the right of the hop of whatever the price action is going forward. usually being 3-bar reversal. Grace Foundation, if you don't have the dot on Harmonic Strength Index on the indicator, first of all, it's currently only on the TradingView version. We will be rolling it out to the other ones. I wanted a couple extra weeks. There might be some tweaks. There's a couple things I will highlight with you going forward that I'm really seeing that are helpful in really determining, okay, what's going to be a reaction, what's a real high level probability confirmation. A couple of ideas there. But if you don't have it on there, it is in the indicator section for TradingView, and you need to go to invite only scripts, reloading the HSI arrows. And then once you reload the HSI arrows here, go to your setting. Oh, perfect. I just took it out. So here we go. Reload it. Okay, like that. And now, and that indicator has Pi Phi bands, which I don't talk very much about. I haven't really got into Pi Phi bands in a while. Maybe I should start talking more about that because they are effective. They are, if you want to look at VWAP or you want to look at any kind of moving average related style indicator, Pi Phi bands are phenomenal. I just haven't talked too much about them because really focusing on the zones and confirmation. I like to use them more for trending situations, but within that indicator, we have all of those different those different modules. I like to remove the Pi Phi bands and then go to your style and look. The presettings are kind of dark. You want to lighten them up a little bit so you can see the arrows. And then here's the dot, the bearish dot. Listen, I just keep them all yellow for the dot on mine. I don't care what you put on there or whatever your background or setup, but just something I think is, the really focused on the dot as like a stamp of confirmation. Great. I did want to go through that anyway, Grace Foundation, because just so people know, especially new trial members that maybe aren't aware of how we look at the HSI dot. That's it. And remarkably, we really rolled out HSI dot in recent weeks and 2 months that with this type 2 return here on the SPY has been effective. I'll go through a couple of the prior bearish readings on our yellow dot, if you will, and just go look at every signal. Every last daily signal for SPY has been something I want to pay attention to. The last bearish one we had was June. And then before that, you go back to April. And you start to see kind of a pattern of some nice reactions there and then over here on the bearish side. So if we're going to just assume that this larger downtrend is still trying to put pressure on the long term, I would expect a pause, a reaction. The only way this thing absolutely doesn't yield some kind of resistance is if we spend the next 2 days blowing through it. You would have to see a nice breakout. And if it did, so be it. Then you make a larger test, probably as high as the hop. I think you're getting close on a couple of different levels of hitting some type of short-term resistance. The obvious resistance, again, up at the 419 to 424.94 to be exact. And if we go sideways, at a minimum, to a back into something larger, this being a type 2 shark, why wouldn't we assume target 2? Would I be that bearish? Not yet. I'm not even going there yet. I'm just saying, hey, when can we really assess this as something larger? It's just not there. It just started yesterday. If it's going to be an immediate follow-through breakdown situation, I think it will be early on it, if anything. You need to violate this uptrend going back from December as well. So that's why a 3-bar reversal is going to be pivotal going forward. I'm talking tomorrow into Monday, some kind of 3-bar breakdown. If you see that, that's the start of it. That would be, capping it for now. So be it. I'm not there yet. Because it's been so strong. It's been a remarkable move. And this has got a bit of a different character up here. We've been up in this zone. All right. This is, the interesting thing about the current confirmation is where our HSI arrow generated from. So I want to show this. Let me get a better color on that. Can we do that? 1 second. Let me get this up here. This is look at that bearish. Okay. So here's the initial signal, that arrow, and one of the things that the yellow dot does is basically identify the second bearish candle that agrees with that signal, but it's happening after an extended move. One of the better things we're seeing are tighter configurations of the arrow and the dot itself. It would have been a stronger confirmation if it was down here. A couple of examples that you want to take a look at are things like at the low down here. Hold on. Let me bring up the green arrow. There you go. It's better. Okay. You're looking for tighter configurations. You want the HSI arrow and then the check back and then the 2 bars. That's where you're seeing reactive areas at a minimum. With patterns, usually leads to something more. So what I'm saying is this dot a little bit different than the other ones. It's not in a tight configuration. Could just be a pause. We've seen that. Either way, I'm on high alert. Let's put it that way, because it's pretty clear that most of what we've been waiting on, that full retest, and I'm going back to December, from 377 to 407 was the segment we wanted to assess. Now, show me something within this window. Let's see. Get over really quick to the QQQ, because you look at those stocks, absolutely raging. We did get a dot yesterday. You do have a shark, a couple things here. For the Qs, I would be focused on the 303, 304 level as support for right now, because if that would be the real breakdown, that's your real 3-bar violation, and then you go into a type 1 off the shark. And then maybe later in the quarter, something like that. Wouldn't be surprised to see that materialize, and then that just be a sharp reaction. We'll get into a couple of situations where you almost want that. Take a look at the tech stock Tesla, right? The tech stock car company, 213, folks. Remember 113? Weekly chart, there was the Gartley, I know the software is kicking out the bat pattern. The whole time we were dealing with it, it was all about the Gartley. Let me remove this, just so you know. There it is. $113, it'll go down in the textbooks of harmonic pattern history is one of the best ones. And your 213 here, I'm more inclined to say bat pattern. It's probably the bigger, better structure, better alignment. And that's still 221. We'll know. I mean, 221 as a minimum, by the way. And Tesla, this is the big thing. HSI blowing up. You want that to really expand. Rolls over, okay. Then maybe it's a week or two away. But if this thing blows through 221, I would say look out. And this is the kind of the lower, the surprising underbelly of Nasdaq. Meta as well, digesting last week's explosion off the crab pattern. Here you go. I mean, look at, even if it came back to 172, that's a logical point where it would gather more support. Here, go to the 4 hour. 4 hour actually is already oversold. Let me go back down here. Pausing, pausing, pausing. How do we know if this isn't going to go down more? Just give it 30 bars. Not surprised to see this thing go into a pause phase for 30 bars, about a week, and then we'll see. But I don't expect this thing much lower than 170. Here's your 5-minute chart. Something nice for today, maybe. Several patterns all converging around 181. That's a little 5-minute setup for everybody. Speaking of 5-minute setups, S&P 500 is, what's that? Up 10. It was up a bunch more. Yeah, we were about, 20 higher earlier. Nasdaq is up 63, and Dow just keeps on holding in at 85, up 85. But the key about the Dow is it's not going down. Dow's not going. Real surprising throughout the whole earnings that it hasn't really even sustained one big down day this whole earnings season. So I think that's the sleeper. One or two more of your big tech plays and patterns, dots and all. Listen, Google getting crushed. What's going on here? It's a type 2. Perfect deep crab, the 103.88, and then all the way down to 93.33. So that was your reaction. And yesterday was the dot. Actually, yesterday's close was the second bearish signal off of that HSI. 103.88 was the structural target one, and let that come back down. Come back down, and we'll hit it again. I think this is your HSI is already rolling over. Today's kind of the pricing day. You're finally realizing it, but not a biggie. Not a biggie. Evan saying there's zero confirmation in Meta. That's correct. Just saying, get an eye on it. And then Amazon, kind of some segmented situations because Google getting crushed, Microsoft and Tesla doing great. Amazon, it seems like a lot of people trying to sell this stock. You have this weekly pattern here on Amazon as well. Similar bat pattern. This thing is, I think, might be even better than the Tesla chart, in my opinion, because you have a beautiful structure. Maybe you come back and kiss that XA level. But this whole COVID 886 thing, which is really what the story is on a lot of them, that, Amazon, there's your COVID move, there's your 886 that came right back, and you're still early in the development. Why? Because confirmation didn't come in until very end of November, and it responded well. This one is not to the right of its downtrend. I mean, you could really draw it like this. Not the best one, but pretty much you want to be a purist of trend lines and encompass the peaks. That's how you do it. You would want to focus on this downtrend where this thing might take the better part of, 6 months. Go as high as 122, 123. and come back down to 93. It's type 1, type 2 material, just needs more time. Versus, say, Microsoft. Come on back. Where'd you go? So Microsoft trying to get above this bat pattern target 1 at 263.86. That's a big deal. And I want to see where this thing closes tomorrow, but why not register now? Look, a little bit higher, Microsoft will trigger HSI. That could be next week, and our amplified RSI getting up there. So if it gets to 265, 270, and is in that range by next week, that would be high enough probably to hit these levels. And then we would start looking on things like that. But still, type 1 reaction feels like a reaction too, the way that's moving. Sharp up, 5 weeks up. We'll get a reversal day pretty soon here, I think, on Microsoft. Yeah, there's your daily. And look, the daily was a deep crab, type 2, going back. Oh, nice one. Right there. Exactly at the low at 220. Where's, yeah, your daily amplified RSI is still in the overbought, so this might need a few more days. No need to jump on that just yet, but look for, say, a failure of the prior day's low or a significant reversal, individual candle day. That's really what would set off a lot of these scenarios. S&P, I say that as S&P is going to new lows for the day, but they're just filling the gap. Just a gap fill for right now, folks. What's going on, chat? You guys awake? Let's give away a book. How about V3? First one to type that one in. Oh, you guys will get a V3. Send you a book. Oh, please. Again, everybody that's in here today, do me a big favor. Go access this link and at least register for me for the Elliott Wave Hub, my presentation at 5 p.m. next Thursday. I'm going to go back. I'm going to talk some foundation. I'm going to talk harmonic pattern framework, giving props to Elliott Wave. Grow in Meds. Welcome. You're a winner. V3. You get a book. We'll give away a gold membership. And remember, everybody, the gold membership, you get 2 licenses and access to all the resources, 2 HPC licenses. So check that out. But first, become a basic member. And if you do have other questions, go to the basic members page and go to the Discord and ask one of the mods or send me a note right in there. All of that's on Harmonic Trader basic members page. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody that signed up already for the presentation, and just want to give them a really strong Harmonic Trader show of really what Harmonic is all about, and big street cred to Elliott Wave, of course, being the primary structural foundation for wave movement analysis, started by R.N. Elliott. There's a lot of other people, but when he laid it down, that really started the whole, just kind of created the entire community of wave theory enthusiasts, no matter what. So we'll get into that, and I think you guys will find it really interesting. And of course, I'm going to be talking about current markets and crypto and commodities and where I think we are in the larger scheme of things. 1 second. Okay, got a market making new lows for the day. Down now I'm negative -5 on S&P futures. That's again where a day like today is critical. Let's go back to the SPY chart before I jump into crypto. Here you go. Yeah, I mean, listen, The thing we want to look for tomorrow, Monday. Well, Monday's a holiday, folks. Don't forget, Monday is a holiday. So uh, we will be back here on Tuesday and Thursday, and we are here every Tuesday and Thursday, 12 noon Eastern. So this is going to be an interesting crunch. You got to think there's a lot of bloated call options that need to be covered and long positions where the market is up 10 to 15% across the board, depending on what you're looking at, and more so if in a lot of other high beta instances of those well-known tech stocks, all the ones that got crushed last year had a huge January. Before that holiday, people are probably going to cap it out, and we have the yellow dot to suggest that's what we need to pay attention to. Minimum harmonic pattern pause. I just want to see what can develop from here. Do we go into a full type 2 where we do a 3-bar reversal? Again, this is the entire zone for the next month or even into the end of the quarter. How are we going to resolve this range on the SPY? There's your big candle from last week. No follow through, by the way, and you run right into your second bar. That one candle defines it really into the end of the quarter. You want that to hold 407, and if this is going to be something much larger, you need a strong close like tomorrow, I would say. Take a quick look at the weekly before I get off of the major indices. The weekly chart just running into static resistance of last year's August peak, July peak, and yet another level that if you want something larger and you want that to break out, that's your zone. The initial low from May and then the December low. I've mentioned this recently. Structurally, every technician is looking at that. Is that a head and shoulders bottom right there? Trace it out. I'm trying to just build the argument of what do you see here? Because if we do the breakout, there's going to be plenty of time. I think we will be challenged. I don't think they're going to give this straight away. I think you're going to be challenged, and we'll see what happens over the next few days, and especially in the end of the month. Try to probably punch it down more than a few times. And this is on track for on the current trend line as well. It won't get resolved until the end of the quarter. You know, this might be a lot of kind of up and down zigzag stuff going into March expiration of March calls, into the end of earnings, and then especially the April. When April earnings come out, that's going to be that for me is where from doing a lot of the stuff I've been doing on call options recently. What are some of the things I've learned? What are some of the things I've done well and other things that I've not done as well? I probably could have better positioned at least for a small portion on some longer term call option premiums. You know, roll out like the Tesla or the Meta plays. Maybe I should have been playing those more March expiration. They're expensive, but that's the size of move we've been looking for. And you see big moves in stuff like Meta and Tesla. Okay. And I think there's plenty of time, but you see that there's been a huge follow through even after the earnings. So I'm considering that. I want everyone to understand that even though, you know, we see crypto finally giving you a little pause, yet some things are popping again. We need to take advantage of these pullbacks and look at them. And even if we get a pullback in the SPY, I'd be looking at that as an opportunity later on. We've had a heck of a run. First 5 weeks, go for it. Time to digest a little bit, probably. But Meta and Tesla, undeniable harmonic pattern, just perfect setups. There's the daily for Meta, and we did hit a daily HSI where you're in a pause scenario, but the longer term zones will be dealing with these patterns all year long or longer, in my opinion. Like I said when I started today, something like Meta, if it comes back to 172 or even say fills the gap against that larger pattern, that's what everyone else is looking at. Fill the gap at 154. We know there's huge pattern zones down here. So I would say it's the next, come back and retest this, fill this gap for the next move higher after the current move. I mean, this is amazing. Tesla's same deal. I think Tesla up at around 220 might hit a lot of resistance. We'll pay attention to that. Where's that right now before I jump to anything else? Tesla, where'd you go? It's still up 10. And that's reaction territory against this weekly pattern. 221.26. Write that number down, folks. 221.26 on Tesla. Write it down. I'm going to pay close attention to that. If we're going to get some kind of snap reversal, 221.26. Hey, Daniel. Sorry, I'm not really checking the chat. Maybe I should check the chat. Daniel says the best thing about Meta, it is way undervalued. His pronunciation of way, by the way. Real current valuation should be up around 250. Maybe. I think there's lots of opportunity. It didn't fail. How about that? Take that for what it is, where it's not going to be a total fest. Like this year, look, after last year, this year had the potential to be just, be like a 2002 NASDAQ, sell it all down to 7,800. At least they came in off these patterns. Couple more. What's going on? Bingo Bananas from Mesopotamia. He's saying Disney looks good. Disney has been looking good for a long time. Thank you for that segue, because we should, if you're new to harmonictrader.com, Harmonic Patterns, please get on the basic members page, because you'll learn what we really been saying about Disney. And take a look now. So for us, Disney's hit target 2 after an ideal type 2 that we've been all over this Disney bat pattern, and this is the harmonic pattern framework in ideal fashion. The type 1 from October, reaction back down, sell it down to the hop level. There's your confirmation at hop to 85, and then amazingly big pop today on earnings, right to target 2 at 114.18. Your job is done. Your job is done as getting the most of those harmonic patterns. What can happen beyond that? Well, I expect this to digest here, but look at the longer term on Disney. You're really trying to break out of this downtrend, but needs some time. Your downtrend on Disney is like that, but this is, not a bad spot longer term. I just think for now it's cooked. Let it come back. Yeah, there's be plenty of time on that. I think that the earnings run, obviously in the pre-market, is rolled over, and for now, that's it. But longer term, yeah, I would be looking at this, and I think off of that type 2 bat pattern, that's going to just end up being, I think, a larger continuation structure in the long-term trend once you can resolve the downtrend there. It might be a year before Disney really breaks out, and that breakout is above 125, 130 to go back to retest all-time highs, and that is your proposition. Your proposition is some kind of consolidation retest of these lows for a longer term development to come later in the year, depending on your asset. What's a good price on another Disney entry? Um, I think you just got to wait for the next HSI signal. We've got a couple of yellow dots right now on Disney that agree with the target at 114. Your preferred scenario would be let this go down. Think of it as a 30-day thing. Maybe could you come all the way back to 94? Maybe. You wouldn't want to see it much below 94, but or retest the trend line. But again, look at where HSI is. Nothing there. It's rolling over at off of these signals. So just put it on the side. We'll come back to it. It's kind of like the way Coca-Cola was. All right, several weeks ago. And here's Coca-Cola. It's a weekly. Sorry, the bat pattern down here. What we've been waiting for to come back down. Where's my? Oh, I turned off the bat pattern. Dang it. 1 second. I turned off the bat. I know wasn't getting any patterns. Every day at this time, the phone rings, and I forget to turn it off. Thank you. Okay. I had the bat. I think it was J&J. My fault. Coca-Cola, I know there's a bat pattern, but J&J is actually where we are with Disney is a lot like J&J. J&J is coming back for the Type 2, folks, 159. But a lot of these moving in the same kind of a way where they're going through longer term weekly Type 1, now go to Type 2, with some with patterns. So here's one that I'm looking at. Maybe we're hitting top end as Airbnb for right now on the daily chart. Take a look. You got a lot of interesting things here. Prior shark pattern, a couple of others. Airbnb, though, did register right after your sun icon. So 117 on Airbnb could be a little pause point off of this latest reaction. And this was a Type 2 off of the shark. I mean, your back-to-back shark patterns is pretty remarkable. Let me clean this up. And you would need that, that's overdone for now. And you're looking for that to be go back to a little corrective phase. I think 117 is ideal number where that structural confirmation came in. Couple of more. What's going on, chat? A few more people in the chat now. Guys, we're here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here on Tuesday and Thursday, 12 noon Eastern. And yeah, great to see everybody. Mr. Lodak, contemporary icon. Yeah, we'll take a look at Nike. Daniel wants to BTC 20 says coin and hood. Yeah, we'll look at those. Those are coins, actually. Another one where it just ran right into Type 2 resistance, and that's why you're probably, you're getting this larger pause. But it went all the way back to this shark pattern. Really difficult just to stick a knife in it and say, hey, that's absolutely, $79. It traded as high as 89, I think, or 87. Yeah. But you're hitting some harmonic pattern resistance. Some of these are, I think, a little smoother than others. What was the other one I was going to check? Yeah, Nike. Sorry. I was looking at Nike just the other day as a 5-minute day trade, and did nothing on that. I think it was off of that bat pattern. Yeah, that was that. No, that was not yesterday. What was the? Somebody refresh my memory from Tuesday. What were we looking at on Nike? I was looking at like 127s. They didn't work out. This thing just went sideways. Dud. Anybody remember that one? I'll have to look at the session. Maybe it was an hourly, man, just taking its time. Hourly bat pattern down here. Yeah, it's I'll have to look at this. Nike just, going to go sideways off of doing this. Remember the type 2 deep crab? It's up at the target, went above the target, 123. Just yesterday that's amazing. We just got a yellow dot yesterday. Take a look. The arrow, HSI arrow came in a month ago and then went sideways. There's your check back. There's one, and there's your second red arrow. And so, okay, I'd be a little respectful of that red candle there on Nike. That's the kind of candle where it's got my attention, especially after the yellow dot, posting a yellow dot for the first time. Just a bunch of noise in here in between, really nothing. Now finally giving you your dot. All right. I'll pay attention to that, looking for a continuation on the downside. But look where HSI is on the daily. Hitting over sold already, but I would suspect that's going to take a couple days to get out of there. And this is for Nike weekly as well. Hitting some overbought readings. Let me go over to XLE and energy really quick. And then I want to jump to crypto, because crypto is starting to show us a couple of things. Pretty interesting things, by the way. XLE, folks. Oil, crude oil, natural gas. Let's go to the monthly. Take a look at this. So, like what we're seeing in the SPY that just generated yesterday, a daily candle. The monthly XLE, we've been looking for a second bearish month. And we might get it finally, as long as you can close underneath, what is that? 89.51. You're 87.27 at the moment. This is my concern, if you will, for energy stocks, and why I've just been out for a while. I've been out of the energy sector, even though they've all seemingly done incredibly well. I've been looking for this oversold bounce in nat gas that never materialized. Now, if that can get a bearish candle, and it's a perfect example of looking for the next 3-bar move. I mean, where are we going to break down? That 3-bar range is under 81.47, and target 1, which is pretty much where I would suspect longer range support really sits, is down there. So that's a key market. I really think that, if crude oil could break out, that would be incredibly supportive for a continuation in longer term overall equity rally. You're really close. You're really pushing it with the type of crab pattern here that I'm looking at. I would expect some harmonic pause, let's call it that way, and I would expect this resistance to stick. The hop level was 93.79, and you hit that exactly. This was November, actually October. The high was 93.74. The hop is 93.79. So all of that coming together, these are things you want to keep an eye on. No doubt. A couple of more. Take a look at big ones like Walmart. Where'd you go? Just saw that here. Longer term, amazingly, these came all the way back, retested their 886s. I'm want to watch what this does. One of the key markets here where we generated a couple of HSI signals, we've been going sideways. Is this going to break down? There's a few of these larger cap stocks that they're hitting their uptrend off of last year's low already. Isn't this has got I think a batter Gartley up there? Hold on. Right now, a little bat off the peak here, 139. But the larger thing, I don't know why the software is not picking up. Probably the alignments aren't matched up, but this sticks out to me. Go to the weekly time frame. Just a general W formation that says, what's that, 618? Yeah, that's close enough. Should be something like this. Yeah, 886 is 157, 786. It doesn't have the proper ABCD signature. You want to see the 1-to-1. But I keep an eye on that because that one, that rolls over. A couple of the other ones, like the other one was JP Morgan. Again, hearing so much of looking for a crash, people looking for this thing to not just correct. People are looking for a massive crash that is surprising. Now, something on like JP Morgan, let's put the harmonic pattern dynamics on it. You want to know what this will do? Okay, again, we go into the next few days or week. We're right up against the target one on a shark. And you're 1 week away. You need a bearish week on JP Morgan to get a yellow dot up here. So I'm looking 144, that if this is the end of the type 1 reaction on the long-term chart, it would have to trigger, give us one bearish candle, and then go back down into the type 2 retest for the shark. That's your bearish scenario. If you're bearish and you're looking for the market to roll over, you're looking for the reactions to end. And that's everything. That is the SPY reaction that we started with today. That's this reaction that we're seeing currently in JP Morgan Chase and many others, where they go and retest later in the year. Give you a type 2. Why wouldn't that happen? That's the big thing at the moment, right now. One more, really quick, is sorry, I wanted to go to NVIDIA, because NVIDIA, like a lot of the other tech companies here that are doing well, they're doing incredibly well. And that's a real conviction chart for NVIDIA. We're still 2 more weeks away from any kind of major confirmation if this is going to be a check back. And this, you get a kind of a delayed HSI. I'm thinking HSI dot, a delayed dot. What's a delayed dot? A delayed dot is where you get the check back, but it's so strong it just keeps going, and then it's well beyond the arrow. That's your better case scenario, stronger case scenario for stocks like that. And weekly chart for NVIDIA is something to look at because you're already at the 100 level on HSI. You're overbought on amplified, and that would need a little bit more time before it would even roll over. So keep an eye on it. Look at things like what's going on the daily time frame. About to run into some of the longer term pattern levels from this bat. Not the best, not the prettiest, but 245 would not be surprised. And the whole thing here is it's another possible type 1. And that's probably the strongest of most of the tech stocks I've been looking at, that even in that case, if we get to target 1 and we get rejected, these are some of the things to be looking for. Potentially could happen in a final thrust up, if you will. And that's so that then gets to crypto. Crypto, here we go. Okay, jump on, hold on. And I didn't even look at the clock as it turns 1 o'clock Eastern here. Let's jump to the crypto scene and let's just run through the top 5. Okay, Bitcoin, we have a dot. We have a bat. We had a prior shark. We have now getting into 30 days of the bearish pattern. And we had bearish confirmation. All of this defining basically 22.5 to 23.5, the resistance zone, confirmation zone. But now you have this thing happening. You had a bullish HSI reading. How does that happen? Look, you're all the way down here on your HSI Harmonic Strength Index signal. Looks like it's going to probably go back in. And as I said the other day, maybe this is just a nominal test within the larger zone. 30 bars puts you next week, no doubt. I mean, that's your clock would be running out. If this is going to do a full type 1 to 19,000, which I still say is your preferred scenario, go to 19,000 and then get ready to do the launch. You would get into March, I think, would be likely scenario with that of 1 year before the Bitcoin halving, and then blow out that pattern. Just it's kind of off the top of my head of how this stretched out reaction could play out, even with the current HSI bullish reading. I think that's, you're going to be a sloppy reaction here. Yeah, I think target 1 is still ultimately going to have to be, you're going to have to do something with that. Does feel like, right now it feels like S&P really wants to tank. The NASDAQ has gone negative for the day, now down 20. The Dow down 100. Feels a lot worse. Feels like with all the stuff going on and the way a lot of people are talking, just seems like, there's a lot of nervousness out there. A lot of people who are very negative on the bullish rally from last week, saying it's, just too much, too overdone. I just look at that as we've got to continue to think reaction reversal. If this is going to show itself across the board, crypto too, then we go into a pause here. Yeah, all right, target 1 would be logical. We didn't break out above the levels within the 30 bars, and so now we're rolling back down. UNG, Mr. Lodak is saying, is up 4.25% today. Yeah, UNG needs, and crude oil, they need a bullish week. All of that would need a bullish week. All that stuff that is crushed would need a bullish week. Let's go to number 2 on our crypto list is Ethereum, and it's much the same deal. It's an extended kind of pausing bat pattern that got confirmation 10, 12 days ago. If it goes into a target 1, 1405 would be your ideal pullback and then go. Or just continue to go sideways and not do much like you did at all the other support levels. But nothing here, nothing to long into, unless you want to go to a 5-minute chart and just day trade it. Stuff like this. I thought I saw a bunch of patterns down here. A lot of good 5-minute patterns, but pretty choppy. Again, it's stuff like, here's the hourlies are probably better. Hourly Ethereum back-to-back bat patterns, that's the kind of way to play the levels if you wanted to trade Ethereum, especially with futures. Currently, you even have a deep regular crab pattern around 1600, hop level at 1588. That would be this hop level at 1588 makes a lot of sense to me. Come down for a lower test here from where you are, but still choppy. Number three, Binance Coin. And Binance Coin, I'll keep mentioning it. It's just still lackluster. Chop 320, 330 resistance here. Your hop level from all of the patterns from last year, still capping it for now, and I don't think that's going to change. You're still probably going to chop in this range like this. 330 is the top side and 250 on the downside. Something like that would make a lot of sense. What else? Number four, Doge. Made a run to 10 cents, nothing. Still in a type 2. Probably taking its time. Wasn't this, where's the ABCD again? Oh, here's why I don't have ABCD. I turned it off. Sorry. Again, if you don't see ABCD patterns generated on the software, check your settings, hit that little button and show ABCD. So there you go. And there's the ABCD for Doge. That doesn't change. It's just taking its time. You ran into this HSI signal resistance. So we, continue to grind. Grind, pause, grind. Higher, backstep it. That's pretty much your trend line proposition. So last one, we've been saying XRP. There's probably a handful now of rather interesting crypto you'd want to keep your finger on. I'll go through those. But yeah, I mean, XRP, we know the deal. I've said this over and over again. Grind in that range until you get an announcement. So if you're looking to accumulate, that's 35, 37 on the low side, and just wait for the announcement. I don't think it's much beyond that, really stretching it. And then the ones that are interesting, of course, that are major pattern plays are things like Solana. What's going on there? This had there you go. Had a deep crab down at the low. Well, that's the bat pattern, but where's the deep crab? There's a smaller deep crab in Solana with 25 bucks was there you go. It's a small deep crab. Finance feed. So are we going type 2 now? We'll know in probably about 5 more bars. It's looking like it's finally broke the uptrend. And this is a real issue with type 1, kind of delayed type 1 completions. There's your breakdown. So that should be where it gets going, and you get a close under 2270. That's your 3-bar range. A full retest. Why not? It hasn't gone higher. I mean, if it was going to make a run for target 2, it would have done it by now. So eye on that one. That's one of several that are like that. Look at Cardano too, because Cardano is a type 2, has a deep crab down here on that last run, and it's okay. I'm going to have to respect this. You generated a yellow dot. Give me a 3-bar breakdown. 3-bar breakdown then sets you up for a return, and you go into the return phase. That's what's at stake here. No doubt. Some of the other ones that we have featured, things like here's Anchor. It's been one that seems to be popping off a little bit today. It is a type 2 off of the deep crab, and but it's going to take time. Great progress. I mean, up almost 30% since we talked about it. Just going to take more time. If that gets slammed 10% down, don't be surprised. couple of more. The crypto sphere. Hey, here's one that is moving, is basic attention token. Your levels here are 23 cents. And this one has made progress with this most recent bump off the lows. That was amazing. That would I get down to like 14, 15 cents. It was $2, so 90% down. And then you could go like that or even go like that. So keep an eye on that one. For if we get a retest, because that's the other thing with a lot of this crypto, things like that Fetch AI. Remember that? Well, this might deliver you a big pullback after that huge spike run. I think the 4-hour. If you were looking for this, if you really believed Fetch was something doing a lot more, I would simply wait for major pullbacks, yellow dots on a 4-hour. I'm not chasing it. People have asked me about this one, but because I do agree. Look, the weekly chart that's a hell of a move the last few weeks, and look at the bat pattern. I mean, this was one we did look at. I didn't catch it, but check out where it got rejected. It went to target one. No confirmation, but 55.8 cents. That's Binance feed on the weekly chart. The high was 60. Yeah, I'll look at those indices as well. Because we're starting to see a lot of the similar things come together. A lot of things that have done this first thrust. I think it's a great start. But you're probably going to have to start paying for things, digesting some of the recent moves. So crypto total market cap, when did that bat pattern, alternate bat, generate? I'll have to look at that. Why didn't I see that before? I was looking at total 3. But even if you have a pullback under $1 trillion, notice how we've gone sideways exactly at 1 trillion. Software's trying to kick out a pattern down here. I think that makes sense. Look, it hasn't been easy for the whole year. Do you think they're going to make it easy right now? It'll take more time. I really feel like before you do the major type ones with what's generated in the last 2 days, maybe you're going to take more time to go do your pause. And I would love to have some of these small bearish patterns, again, come back, react, and then explode. That would be how the structure plays out. Hey, what's up, Zeke? Zeke says, well, the day has come to buy the software. Awesome. Zeke, just make sure you've taken the trial first. And all you need to do is send your username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. All of that's on the basic members page. Here are the other 2 total indices. Total 2, take out the Bitcoin, most just with Ethereum. Nice bat pattern down here. All right, just watch for the trend line breakdown. It's not quite there yet, but getting close, and you would be maybe a couple of more days if this is going to break down. That's really what I'm looking at. A lot of these things have just mooned incredibly. That made me like somebody was looking at Ocean. Yeah, I mean that's just, here you go. Ocean is this, and still it's up, almost 6% still today. Look at that. There's your Ocean, but Ocean is at target 2 off the crab pattern. Amazing. Amazing. I still say with the ones that haven't developed, you'd want to be looking for them here or here well before they make the run to the targets. But what you want to learn from these is that, yes, in fact, these targets were realized. And I think even if the indices, the total crypto indices, are going to take more time, I think those target ones eventually will get hit. If that's in 6 months or in a year, those are valid levels. Um, did we look at Chili's yet? Update that situation because that tried to go. No, it didn't. It didn't go all the way. It was up at 17, back at 14.6 cents. This is welcome to the Type 2. That's how a Type 2 develops. Nice 3-bar breakout just 2 days ago. No follow through, but you'll come back on the trend line. And remember, we talked about how primary trend lines just the other day. I don't know if it was last session or the session before. That's fairly common. That's your primary, call it a 45-degree uptrend off of the retest area, and Type 2s take longer. Here's Type 1, bang, all the way back up, and then back down for the retest at 11.3. You gave up half the gains just last day, but that's crypto. We're still targeting 23.5. Keep an eye on it. And speaking of keeping an eye on specific patterns, things like this, like compound here, I would really get this on your screen and monitor this. I'm looking for the next HSI signal on the downside, come back down, retest this Gartley. Remember, the crab 1618 is like 43. That's a big zone. And I mentioned that a lot of the privacy coins have big patterns and beautiful setups. I mean, here's Zcash, nice crab pattern, and the weekly time frame too. Let me get the right chart. There you go. Weekly time frame has some signals, but that's not the one. Monero, sorry. Monero, beautiful Type 2. And these are really threatening this first thrust that they did, that all of crypto did. That's kind of like to tell you, hey, we're not gonna go completely out of business just yet. Monero, off of this type of a formation, will make the run off of a target 2, successful target 2 to 260. That's the way to think about that. You're 160 at the moment. All right, you hit some HSI recently, but a whole bunch of these. I mean, these are big patterns where I wouldn't be dissuaded by recent action. In fact, it's going to give you a chance. Here's Ethereum Classic, same deal. This is a daily. Take a look. Big bat pattern. Ran into the deep crab. Okay, so whatever that next retest is, whatever the next HSI test is after this first reaction, is going to be the most significant of since the initiation of the last cycle. That's how big it is. Hey Ken, you want to look at Jasmy? Yeah, that was a super T coin. And so yeah, our T coins got crushed on the check back, but line them up. I mean, this is the opportunity. Look, Jasmy, Type 1 to Target 1, 786. Right to Target 1 was 786, 0.786 cents. Got rejected. Great. Set you up. Where's HSI? Nowhere yet, but line it up. I think that's a first thrust kind of a move. See how far this can come back down. If it could come back to the XA level, maybe that would be your Type 2 down there. It remains to be seen because there's no confirmation. This actually blew out the confirmation at 0.6 cents. That's why this is a little in between at the moment. I'm not ready to say that this thrust is over yet, despite the pullback. We have no confirmation up here, which I would prefer to see some kind of definitive resolution and then come back down, but we'll wait and see. We've seen this materialize differently depending on your coin. Couple more. The GRT, the graph, another one where look at the patterns that we had. Deep crab pattern down there, you know, with confirmation pretty much on it at 7 cents. That's your first thrust. What was the peak? The high on that was, depending on your feed, 21, 22 cents. But most of the feeds, there's a good Binance feed with multiple patterns, 25 cents. This is the same deal. Just because this thing got rejected, cut a third, lost a third in the last 48 hours, that's a first thrust kind of a move. So let's line up something, keep an eye on this thing. On the hourly, anything on there? Not yet. No pattern, but that's a huge move off of 7.8 to 23. Okay, now 16, great. Maybe it comes back to 14. Maybe it comes back to 15, something like that. But that's a great first thrust move. And the other one was, what was the big one? Oh, check out this T coin. And I don't think we've really covered it. It's been a while. It was Origin Trail, TTT. Speaking of T coins. Or Origin Track, something like that. Yeah, Origin Trail, there you go. And again, another weekly massive. And the history is kind of crazy on it. There you go. It was this insane type 2. I remember this. Insanity. Prior bat pattern on the weekly at 17 cents, okay? And rallied straight to target 1 at 45. Now 46. But again, not all coins are created equally. Many have progressed, others have yet to. Here's one that looks like it's about to. Another T coin, love it. T stands for toilet. It's the lowest of the low. It's the toilet below the S coin, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, ladies, I don't mean to be disgusting, but I'm just trying to be funny here. But look, scale is this bigger pattern. Look, the shark down here. And we've just said, look at all of that as massive basing, even though the pattern zone's a little bit skewed. Let me get a better chart here. Scale was, yeah, I think 3.9. It's only 4.3 now. It got low to 2s. But beautiful basing. And I do want to give a shout out. If you guys go check out Bill O'Neill's Investors Business Daily book, How to Pick Stocks. William O'Neill, David Ryan, they do a great presentation of bases like this. And that's what that is. It's going to take more time, but it's basing. Storage coin, another one. This was a weekly, right? Nice big pattern up on the bearish side. I think this was a daily on Binance feed. There's Binance US. I'll come back to this one. One that I do know we were looking at and still am is Algo. And coming off yet just big patterns down here. Big bat, ABCD. Has a little bit of this little bearish right off the low. And unlike a lot of these, didn't do much. But hey, if it comes back to 24, 21 cents, that's going to be an opportunity. Your ABCD here was at 122. They're not bad. Is the macro bottom in for crypto? I don't think so. I don't think all crypto is created the same. And I think you're going to have a lot of reactions before you get major saucer separation moves like a lot of people are anticipating for next year's halving. I think you're going to have a lot of work in the meantime. So I'm going to still say no, and I'm going to reserve that because the thing I'm going to finish up on today are interest rates. I know Aptos, someone wanted to say Aptos, uh, BTC 20 was asking for it. Relatively new listing on a lot of them. I think this was new on Binance Coin. Amazing. 3 to 19. But yeah, I think you got to look at that as there's the crypto feed for Coinbase. That's probably what really sent it. Yeah, I'm not. You can't chase that. You actually have to be. If you're in that looking to scale out, if you're hoping for a continuation, well, HSI on the daily, and that's Coinbase feed, has to do something fast. Really quick, who wants a gold membership? First person to type in gold, GOLD. We'll give you a free 30-day, and please, everybody, please do me a favor. Go sign up for my Elliott Wave Hub presentation there and become a basic member. Join us here on the Discord, but go to the basic members page and get with the software. So I wanted to show this. Everybody that's new and you want to get the HSI dot for TradingView, send your username, full username, to HPC at, right there, HPC at sr-analyst.com. Zamos 6, XAMOS 26. You win the gold. You have to contact us on the Discord. Contact Miss Stephanie on the Discord right there, please. And she'll set you up with that gold membership, 30 days. And just so you folks know, I mean, look, let me just black out our login links for the gold members. But this is what the gold membership is all about. We have our Monday meetings. We have our gold members group. It's a private group on Discord. And then you get the live member sessions with the market updates here and 3 ideas, my weekly 3 ideas, usually 3 stocks I'm throwing out. And then you get all the advanced presentations and seminars there. Please check all of that. Gold members, if you have any questions, let me know. And if you purchased the program, the software recently, and you want to access that, you can just contact on the Discord. It's kind of an inside thing. 1 or 2 more, and let's wrap this up with crypto in general. Look, I'm not trying to get down on crypto. I just think there's going to be more work to do, and I would be using the opportunity to size up the coins that haven't run, because the ones that have shown us what's possible. Here's 1 or 2 of the crypto stocks I want to look at. Here's Riot Blockchain. Okay. The weekly chart is a monster up here. Looks like this. There you go. It's that bat pattern. This thing could take more time down here, but you're to the right of that massive downtrend. And all of your triggers, your first triggers down here, going back to last June, came in around $4.50, $5 level, and you're only at 6. So I'm not saying chase it here. I'm looking at 6 or just under 6, but that's a beautiful pattern, longer term on the weekly chart in the crypto space that warrants attention. You would want a little bit of a pullback here because you're well to the right of the downtrend of that crypto cycle, saying, okay, somewhere around $5 or $6, I might look at that as a target one reaction in 12 to 18 months. Just generally, that's how I would think about it. But it's a beautiful pattern, and it has confirmation, and it's in the crypto space. And so if crypto is going to continue to perk up, I'm looking there. Or I mentioned this before. I know some of you don't like this, but this GBTC with the big weekly pattern behind it is intriguing for us harmonic traders. These are the kind of situations I feel where The pattern is screaming. It's just not saying, it's screaming something big. It, again, might take months to develop. You could go 30 weeks to the right of that downtrend before you get something much larger to happen. But I'll look at anything around $10 on GBTC if we can get it. The first 3 bar breakout really was only a month ago. So give it time, a little bit of follow through. It's not popping because Bitcoin's not popping, but you're in a big consolidation basing zone like we've seen with a lot of those T coins that took their time before they did pop off. But if this is the position you want to be in, it's a major cycle low retest with an ideal pattern. And I will, just to refresh your memory, we did have the same dang thing on the last cycle. All right, for Bitcoin. Back-to-back bat patterns that set off the prior cycle. We didn't get one here. It didn't line up properly, but on other instruments, yeah, you're getting it. So let's just kind of combine the two. Let's think of it like that, where let's learn what these prior patterns showed us. And then, you got a lot of HSI signals and dot signals at those pattern lows that reinforced it, which you see in something like GBTC. You do have on that instrument, look, we've got HSI, and then you got the yellow dot, all of that weekly. That was at down here at 1150. No, it hasn't done much. It went down to $8, but it hasn't done much. It at least has held the level, would be the way that I look at that after. Now again, look, 30 bars, tell me what it's doing. At least it's stabilizing. Hasn't jumped off the chart yet, but stabilizing within your 30 bar window. And that's a fair assessment, especially with confirmation and the way that a lot of the rest of the crypto have popped off. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens there. So keep an eye on that. Listen, expect volatility, expect a lot of up and down, indecisive kind of behavior, because you've got, you're got a lot of people trying to throw this thing at every fluctuation of the VIX and interest rates. This is what I wanted to show before I get out of here, because this is the other chart that I think on a side basis will have relevance. 10-year yield. All right, the weekly chart has some bullish readings, and the daily chart is really what I'm closely focused on, because above 365, then interest rates will run higher. It's not resolved yet. A couple of times this looks like it was fail. I still say that this is gonna, I'm surprised this hasn't failed yet. Let me say that way, but there is confirmation on the retest. This is the type 1 perfectly to target one at 389. You came back, you held. Now let's see what's going to happen, because by definition, if it's successful, we should go to 406, which would be very difficult for the market. You go back to 406. So far, the market's managed to rally with stabilizing to higher rates in the last 30 days. This is coming together. Again, a close above 365 on that's the 10-year yield. You want to watch that. We probably could come here near Tuesday, and that might resolve the whole situation. Or the other thing is the VIX. And the VIX has been lagging until it hit 17 and change with the daily bat pat or sharks down here. So the shark, the Gartley, again, couple of patterns where, all right, amazingly 1739, 1761, those were the lower possibilities. They got scraped and it held. Maybe a short-term volatility thrust off of here back into the low 20s. I don't expect too much, maybe a nominal reaction. That's why you're seeing the VIX come off of this level. You've got a couple of patterns there. Interestingly, you've got more than a few things there. But 17 is the low end of VIX. If you were bullish, it would have to break 17. But between that and interest rates, those are the two side levels, two side markets that they'll influence what happens here off of the SPY dot. And again, I think it's mostly about the SPY, mostly about how we follow through off of today's dot. Are we going to listen? It's still not for sure we're going to get a bearish close off of today. We registered the dot yesterday. All right, we kind of checked back against the resistance, and I'll just line it up like this, where the next 2 weeks get determined by that range. You break down, you go under 407, 406, then it opens up larger possibilities. You hold here somehow and go sideways. That's probably your best bet. If you're bullish, at best, it's going to get capped. I still expect this to face more resistance now that you have the dot. You're to the right of the dot, hence the title. Sure, Victoria, how are you today? We can look at that because Martin's asking for the dollar as well. Let me start with the dollar, and then you want to go to the bond market. Well, we're looking at those yields, but in terms of price, if you want to look at bond prices, we can do that. But here's DXY, folks, and the DXY is still a longer-term story across the board. Oh, I just lost something there. Hold on. After the most recent correction, and this is a monthly, should be a monthly chart. Check out the monthly stuff, folks. So you have this crab pattern. It's a type 2 crab, believe it or not. And you had a larger ABCD. This is what the software kicked out. And you're exactly at target 1, which is 100 on the index, now trading 102. No confirmation here, but you are oversold on HSI. So DXY, another situation that it needs a month. It needs a bullish candle on the month to have any significance or any real consequence. 1 second, folks. 1 second. Well, the way that they connect is Victoria's asking, how do the rates connect? Higher rates, all right, influence equity prices generally, not always. And a lot of times you've had markets where you can get rising rates like the mid-90s and still have a rising market. There's the TLT on the monthly chart. That's your ETF for treasury bonds. And again, think of it this way, when prices, this is the longer term chart, so prices go down, rates go up. The TLT, all right, has registered a bunch of oversold readings on the monthly basis where the interest rate rise. Look at your yellow dot that marked that right at the top on the monthly. This is one of the reasons why I think the longer term, even if we bounce around and we go up slightly higher a little bit from here, there's a lot of long-term signals that say, for now, this should be it on rates. Maybe we have a retest or something, but these are serious monthly long-term signals that uh, from the way that we look at things, are oversold. Where rates should be lower, prices, bond prices going higher. That's the way to read that. But maybe for now, you're going to do some zigzag. There's the I think we looked at this last week. It's a bat pattern off of the low, hitting resistance here on the daily. That this is probably why you're seeing this thing go sideways. Maybe come back down into the zone before really breaking out. And the breakout point is obvious at this juncture. Well, and this is going to trigger it as well. Until that breaks out on the TLT above, say, 109, 1010, you're not going to get much to happen in rates. That would be the signal for a larger equity move if you did go through that. And once it, if that happened, I'm not saying that happened. I'm saying right now we're actually in a reaction phase off of this hop level where, again, prices come down, rates go up. That's what that means. That doesn't help crypto. It doesn't help any of them. Why say that while markets go to the lows for the morning here, lows for the day, down 15 now. And again, I think volatility is more going to be the key. So if you're sitting in a position like this and it's almost obvious it's rolling over and our targets are lower, that's how we have to position for now for, again, a 30-bar window. Put yourself into a 30-bar window or less. It could be 10 or 15. Yeah, I know. Again, stuff like gold. Gold has raged. Boy, you guys got me long today. But gold has been something hit there daily. There's the daily. Deep crab on the daily. But really what it is, it's a target 2 off the bat. I mean, amazing here. That's going to be an interesting test because I've been thinking even as low as 1840, there's the bat pattern. And target 1, it was at 1840. This thing went to 1960. So gold's probably it for now in a type 1. And that's, yeah, that all happened in 2 days last week. I was away last week, and what did it drop? It dropped almost 100. But that's your gold situation. Come down into a type 1 minimum. I think that gets as low as 1838 or lower, or 1800. Yeah. Couple of more. Brutal. Here's the other GLD. Haven't looked at ETF. Here you go. Target 2 was at 181 on the GLD. Exactly. I need to start paying attention to this thing again. Nice. That to me also, with that kind of a breakdown, that's a massive gap down. Keep an eye on what happens here. If you do continue and you break down under 173, this will come all the way back. There's really nothing on GLD till 160. I would probably favor that full return off of a move like that over the next several months. And that was beautiful off the September low. But that's it. It's a reaction. And again, maybe the GLD is probably best of all to show you what kind of trend this has been. It's been a reaction straight up. Let's just keep an eye on today, tomorrow. We're going to get the follow through on the dot on all of these where, yeah, you go to cash or temporarily you're going to have a pullback. Possibly. We're squeezed in that range. No doubt. No doubt. Okay. I'll give you guys 2 more minutes of random stuff. Hood. Because I didn't look at that's earnings. Nothing. Sorry. Somebody wants to look at GMT. GMT, bat pattern, bang it. Back down here at 46 or so. That got to 20. Yeah, you're going to want to look for this. Look, let this come back, retest, and trigger, because that's probably going to be your that retest opportunity, which could lead to something larger than what you're seeing here. Couple more. The big one that I'm looking at, I really want to pay attention to. I think they already had earnings. Forgot to mention this. I'm looking at Pepsi. This is, again, another one where you got incredibly strong uptrend. And if the market's going to have a serious problem, this pattern's going to fail. This stock will fall apart. I just don't see that happening. You know, again, you pull up Pepsi here, going back, it's on an arrow, on a rope, as they say. And that's why you want to pay attention to bullish patterns in an uptrend, exactly like that's showing you, giving you a sharp correction right back down to the trend with a pattern. That's another one. There are key markets I want to pay attention to closely. I'm not surprised to see us give back some things from here. How much? We'll see. We'll see by next week, because, again, the magnitude of the give back will be obvious come tomorrow, come Monday. And I say this, I'm trying to stretch it out. As S&P's down 17 now after being up 20, 30. But be aware that that's where we are. Again, we're going to come to the end of what we've jumped in front of. I feel like it's been a good reaction, and let's look for that next opportunity on the long side, because the longer term weekly stuff has resolved, and we'll talk about that next week. But I'm okay with a first thrust scenario on a lot of these. What I'm trying to tell you is don't chase. Don't go back in there chasing stuff. Ali, last one, Ali. You're the last one. Ali, Datadog. Because that was one of our 3 ideas long ago. And beautiful off the lows, 70 or so, I think. Isn't that where we're looking at? 69? Taking its time. But that's another one that's in development, more like things we've seen, where that's Tesla 2 months ago. I'm not saying it's going to go full mad, but that's a great spot. That's like Disney at 85 or 90. Just go through the software. Everybody, listen. Again, I want everyone to do me a favor. If you haven't registered, please register for my presentation next Thursday, 5 o'clock. It's free. Want to get a great showing. And for everyone else that hasn't, especially the new people, because we still have lots of new people coming in, get on harmonictrader.com. Get on the Discord so you can access things like the HPC cheat sheet. Come over to our Discord there, and everything is on the basic members page over at harmonictrader.com. Please, that's where it all happens. Until Tuesday, folks, thanks for everything. Have a great weekend. It's been great to be back. Hang in there. Might get a little bumpy, but it's all good. This will bring us our next set of long opportunities, in my opinion. Reactions all over the place. Not many reversals, but we'll get there. Awesome. All the winners, you know what to do. Reach out to Miss Stephanie on the Discord. Until Tuesday, have a great one. Go get them. Take care.